Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Just wanted to share with you an interesting archived conversation from a questionable individual and their mindset when it comes to talking about Noah Presgrove. And this is in regards to Facebook, but on a different page by TMZ or Z. And to be honest, I think this might be in relation to when TMZ did that little interview discussion with the little audience of experts or whatnot. You remember it on YouTube, and I did an analysis on the matter too, and it was okay, but not the best. But either way, I guess it may have been posted, reshared on Facebook, which followed by responses and conversations. And one particular name popped up, which not everybody quite saw eye to eye with in a positive way. This is a viewer requested video that has only just come up recently, wanting my thoughts on the matter. Who could it be? How significant is it really? Of course, when it comes to online, when it comes to cases, communities, you will always get questionable people with comments and thoughts, but at times, could there be more to it? Like the individual who's behind the screen or whatever, typing it up. Are they saying what they're saying just to get a reaction? Or they're doing it because they are responsible or the one for what happened with Noah, such as in this case? You can leave your thoughts down below, but before we even get to that, I need to show you the comments. This is the first one, TMZ, May 13th. So some time ago now, 7 weeks ago, if not more. I don't know exactly when this screenshot was taken, but it was shared just as yesterday, in case you were wondering, or so. I'm gonna zoom in, so it makes it easier for you. This is the person. Now, it's interesting how there's like a little tag or something. I don't know if it's the name or a tag what you get associated with being present on a page, but it says top fan. A top fan says this: Prince, what's the problem here? Noah was a young, arrogant athlete who had all the girls. He got drunk and was being disrespectful, and someone sent him to the upper room, which means heaven, likely death. Left him naked and curled up in a fetal position. Laughing emoji. The end. So, in a way, Prince is getting at is, what's the big deal? What's happened has happened. It is what it is. It's quite simple, and indirectly, Noah deserved it for his disrespectful ways. He had it coming to him with time. He had girls, he had everything going for him, and yet he still was pushing it, and someone finally snapped or turned. It happens. That's how you could, infer from this impression by Prince and what's being said. Not everyone, is too pleased. You can tell by the reactions of emojis. And we'll analyse it in a second. Grace responds, how sad, no one should die. Samantha, what an absolute disrespectful jackass thing to say. Someone lost their child, their brother, etc. It doesn't matter if he was drunk or young or arrogant, he died and no one knows why. If this were my child, I'd go to hell and back to find out what happened and why. And I certainly wouldn't enjoy reading comments like this. It's not the end, it's only the beginning of finding the truth. No one has a right to die by the hands of another person. I truly hope you never end up in a situation and asking yourself why things happened the way they did. No one has a right to die by the hands of another person. But what if, in a completely different setting, it was completely pure self-defense? Are you still not allowed to? You're just supposed to allow another individual to walk up to you, slit your throat, and you say thank you, bend over backwards, and what? Yeah, let's be realistic there. But in terms of the Noah Presgrove case, Noah didn't deserve to die. If Noah did say anything bad to someone, or cheated, things like that, maybe a slap across the face or being punched but not severely, could be warranted. But vice versa for anyone else that may have done the same, such as at the party. So we go back to her. So what's interesting is the reference to being curled up in a fetal position. And yet, how it's gone in the interviews, I know a lot of people will probably still jump back on and say it is the fetal position. But consistently, with time, there was no fetal position. Caden Pressey, who first saw Noah, said, when I say first saw Noah, besides Jack, okay, at around 5:21 supposedly, Monday, Caden stated that Noah's body was sprawled out legs, and arms. Fast forward onwards and post tampering with evidence, supposedly, when is it undersheriff or so, Jimmy Williams came on down first on scene, part of the LE. He reported that Noah Presgroves' body, legs were shut, not spread out like how Caden described, and the arms were not tucked in, no fetal position. So, who the hell referenced fetal position then, when before and after, both Caden and Jimmy Williams didn't mention anything about fetal position? We're in one of those situations again, aren't we? But in terms of the reference, trying to understand what Prince is getting at here, is it to do with a specific example at the party which then led to the death? Let's read it. Noah got drunk, seems to be the case, disrespectful, and someone sent him to death. Does Prince mean Noah was disrespectful towards the then-be killer that retaliated, or that Noah supposedly was disrespectful to a party goer and then somebody else acted on behalf of that so-called victim that was verbally assaulted, if you want to put it that way, retaliated back and got revenge or avenged someone else? Was it needed? No. Was there any examples of it? Possibly. At the party, the bedroom situation, Monday morning, around, exact time, unknown, that Noah Presgroves supposedly called Avery a fat beeb, the B word, basically bitch. Was anything else said earlier? Who knows? But to be called that may not be great, and as others around, you may feel disrespected and a bit embarrassed. And it was supposedly said that Avery responded by chasing Noah out of the room, of the house. Is that what caused Noah to walk away? Different ways of looking at it. Who else was present to hear it? Because this is the thing, when it's a male saying bad stuff or physically doing bad things to a female, if in a public setting or around other humans, people are more likely to step in and say, hey, that's not right. So like other males will step in and say, what are you doing to that girl or that woman? You shouldn't be doing that. And yeah, if the roles are reversed, where if a woman was slapping a man in public or verbally abusing or ridiculing, then everyone nearby will just laugh and move on with the day. So it is a bit one-sided. But in terms of Avery, who was Avery connected to at the time? Friend-wise, any of her boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, anyone present at the party that didn't think it was right what Noah said to Avery and thought, you know what, I'm going to retaliate back and get revenge and make Noah pay, whether Avery wanted that or not. That's how it could be interpreted from this comment here. If I just zoom out and we move to the next slide if possible, the conversation does continue. Stormy. Just remember, you reap what you sow. There's no way you live a happy, productive life with such a cold heart. Kind of sounds like you're a bitter too. Mad because you couldn't get any girls. This is still someone's child, human being, the problem of the day, folks, just like you said. What Stormy has said, it's understandable because of what Prince being very cold, but Stormy's statement about, oh, you must be a bad person and you must be negative and you must have a sad life if you don't have this and you don't have that and you don't get to experience this or girls or that. Realistically, that's just used as a false comfort blanket statement to make yourself feel better or to make others feel better. Reality is, in life, there are bad people out there better off than good people. And at other times, there are good people out there better off than bad people. You can't just say because someone is bad or because someone is simply negative, that's what equates or equals to them not having much or getting much or no one wants anything to do with them. Because it's just all mixed, it's all random out there. You've got rapists, you've got abusers that can be in the presence of the opposite gender and be in relationships left, right and centre. And you get good, genuine people. Not nice ones that would claim that they are, but just genuine. Keep the head down, don't cause any trouble. they get walked over, or they get ridiculed, or they're just ignored, tossed aside. It's all random at the end of the day. Let's not use these comfort blanket statements. As for Prince, why would they be cold about it in this case? I mean, it's not just Prince, is it? There's other more known people, like Sarah Long, the sister to Stevie Howard. But anyway, Prince does respond here, saying, just remember, he shouldn't be running his mouth, I'm guessing Noah's. After the vehicle flipped on him, that was God saying, just leave, boy. Nah, he had to go back running his mouth. He won't do it anymore now. Laughing emojis. This is where it gets a little bit more personal, because Prince is wording it as in they were there to see it to an extent and to know about Noah mouthing off not just once but twice. And I wasn't quite aware of that exactly. Let's just see what else is being said, because it does need to be analysed, this. Why was he naked? Prince, public humiliation for getting drunk and being disrespectful. His clothes were even found not far from him. Lol, folded. Someone did him in. Right, do you know who then? They seem to find it rather amusing. You know what's more interesting? Not just what Prince says, which some people could find shocking and rude, it's that there are 2 thumbs up or 2 laughing emojis that are in agreement with what Prince states. Who are them individuals? You could say they're just as bad. Now, underneath there is a response by Avery Smith. Sounds like the police need to talk to you. You seem to know a bit too much information and you're posting using a fake profile. You clearly don't like this young man who was murdered. I think you might have had something to do with it, or know who did. There's a little bit of suspicion going on. How interesting. And last but not least, Sapphires. So he was murdered? Prince, brutally. Well, that's how it comes across from what we've heard of since. Paula, what the F is going on? He's naked? Okay, he was murdered? Scott, living with a narcissist made me understand so many things about life that I didn't know until now. I was in a loving relationship with my... Okay, that just goes on to something completely different. And then as for the profile here, Prince, that's what it looks like. Got a bit of an urban exploration, abandoned type building as their background channel art or page art. Profile picture is of an individual, which may or may not be them, likely not them, wearing a white balaclava and a rose near to the mouth. As for the bio, you just came here to snoop around, didn't ya? Well, I didn't. These screenshots were actually passed on, so someone else did. What it comes across as is it looks like it's been planned, this, to leave certain types of comments which will obviously trigger a response from some who will message back and then may later go onto the profile as well. So by setting this bio up, Prince anticipated what would happen next. It sounds like it was all constructed and planned. Is this like a symbolism of the Noah Presgrove case being planned out and how things were going to follow? Does make you think. It says from Indianapolis, Indiana. This is a public profile, or at least what's shown on screen is public. Has anyone messaged the individual? And how would that actually go down? What we do need to do then is get back to this one, the third to last post. Public humiliation, getting drunk and disrespectful. The clothing being folded, it wasn't clothes as in more than one piece of artifacts, it was just the shorts, supposedly white shorts, found in the middle of the road, then later folded by Jack Newton, and a police guy was present. Jack put him in the back of his vehicle. Police guy told him to put him near to Noah's body. Weird how the police guy just allowed Jack to move it in the first place when it's a scene and it should have been left as it was. That's problematic. The police guy could have done it themselves if they found it to be too much of an issue. So, lack of proactivity there, lack of direct action. Now, this is the main one, which is interesting. Mentioning a specific example. Just remember, Noah shouldn't be running his mouth after the side-by-side, that's what he means by the vehicle, the side-by-side flipped on Noah. Did it flip on him? Because he would have been inside of it, and then it would have rolled over. and then he may have crawled out. Not that Noah was on the floor and then the vehicle rolled onto him. You've got to be careful with the wording there. But after it flipped, it was a sign from God telling Noah to leave before it gets worse. Before it gets worse. So in a way, Prince is kind of getting at that the side-by-side rollover was the first piece of karma towards Noah. Noah got a little bit injured with a bloodied nose. That's karma for what Noah said earlier to someone running his mouth. Was that the Avery Combs situation? Or somebody else? I mean, Noah did run his mouth and yell at Jack on the Saturday from what Caden witnessed, but that was because of what Jack did to Noah's girlfriend, flirting, cheating to an extent in the background. So if that's all true, Noah had a right to be yelling then. But what about after that point and before the side-by-side? What other words were exchanged with whoever by Noah that could be considered disrespectful then? I'd like to know. For Prince to say, nope, Noah had to go back. What, to the house? Running his mouth. Saying what and to who? Because, to be honest, did Noah want to return back to the house if he wanted to originally leave the house? Maybe Prince, if Noah got his wish and was granted a ride back home, then supposedly, in this person's mindset, Noah wouldn't be running his mouth again because he would be back at home and asleep and resting. So in a way, Noah didn't have much choice but to stay at the house because no one would take him back home. As for running the mouth then, well, that's probably going to be the bedroom scenario. But during the shower before, there didn't seem to be much talking or issues there. It's interesting that Prince isn't mentioning about the teabagging. You would have thought that would have been another thing. Oh, Noah was teabagging, so obviously anyone that was teabagged must get their revenge, and Noah had it coming to him. As far as that wasn't mentioned, or maybe it will be later. But to say Noah won't be running his mouth anymore because he's dead with a ha 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 laughing emoji is quite insensitive and unnecessary. Prince almost enjoying it a bit too much. To be honest, when it comes to the theme of emojis, a digital form of conveying emotions within a conversation, a discussion, casual, formal, semi-formal, etc., online, through text messages, public comments, and even on Facebook, and even the emoticon reactions, which are exclusively on Facebook, but also on Discord, but in a different way. At the end of the day, it's the timing and how they're used, the appropriate nature. And what we saw today, crying, laughing, or just a laughing emoji, seems a bit insensitive. Laughing at the fact that Noah died and that he deserved it, that's how it comes across. But this random person isn't the only individual, are they? Seen it in the Sofa Sleuth page and beyond, where people will use crying and laughing emojis when talking about the death of an individual. All very reckless, degenerative behaviour, but it doesn't surprise me because when it came to the Dylan Rounds case and community, there was a variety of humans that did the same there, and some of whom switched over to the Noah Presgrove case and then had the cheek to, try and call me out, tarnish my credibility, accuse me of copying and this and that. Absolutely pathetic excuses of humans. In terms of when it comes to me, there are certain responses, there are certain actions, there are certain words, there are certain emojis which can be used for a certain place and time, of course, with certain type of people. You're not going to be using some dodgy emojis towards some higher ups or victims of a family. It's just very unprofessional and rude and all that. And just like other things as well. It's just degenerative behavior, and if not that, just simply recklessness. There's no thought behind it. It's just so loose. Just like many other things, these attitudes, like what I was saying in recent time, doesn't do much good. It only causes more problems. So to link back with the Noah Presgrove situation and the conversations online with the crying and laughing emojis, is it really a laughing matter? There's a time and place where you can cut through the darkness with a bit of lightheartedness on the sideline. But when you're dealing firsthand with a case or maybe learning, it probably just doesn't quite align. You know, when you're directly having a conversation about the subject and you include laughing emojis. Same happened in the Dylan Rounds one. It's pretty stupid, in my opinion. Now, with that all being said, as for this unknown individual on Facebook that commented on TMZ, clearly it's kind of outdated, right? Because it's back then, May time, over 7 weeks ago. But in addition, you got to look at where it was posted on TMZ, not on the Army, Justice or Case Discussion page or Sofa Sleuth one, just on TMZ, publicly viewable. This could be a random passerby that decided to word it in such a triggering way in hopes of gaining traction and attention and engagement on their own page. But if you're going to be doing that, you'd likely be doing it more so on Twitter than Facebook, because with Twitter, you can build engagement, gain the analytics and grow in many ways and benefit. On Facebook, it's not quite like that. So there'd be no reason to do it unless someone thought it was a little troll joking about it would be funny and get a reaction. There's that as well. But at the end of the day, this is just simply looking at it, putting it into perspective, trying to make sense of what they're referring to with Noah and what particular events. And some seem to stand out and you could interpret it a certain way, but could you make the argument and suggest that the person behind those arguably negative comments could well be a party goer who was actually there under an alternative account showing their true thoughts and what they still think till this day? Does make you think, but don't you think they would be smart enough not to be putting themselves out there publicly, or it could fall back on them and they could get caught out and there could be consequences? So is it more likely to be a random, reckless act by an individual that feels like there'll be no consequences, repercussions on them because they have no appliance or link to the case nor involved? They just thought it was funny at the time, hence the emoji, degenerative behaviour. You got to think of the age range as well. If it's someone from TikTok, could be of a younger age. When it comes to the Kenny Veach case and mystery, the way people comment and type there with like misinformation and false stories. Oh, I'm going to head out there, or I've already been out there and I saw it. I saw the cave, I saw the monster, I saw Kenny and some bones and whatnot. Some people will truly believe in that. But when you do a bit more research and you find out the individual that was stating this story, what actually happened, turned out to be a load of BS, and looking at their channel comes across as a younger viewer who can have quite an imaginative mindset and are likely lying and just doing it because they think it's fun or they want some attention. They've not quite developed with time, such as in here, and that's just normal. So when it comes to case, you got to understand the demographic of who is present and who researches and talks. But to be fair, in the true crime casing community, it can be of like near to an adult age and beyond. And often you might find quite some degenerative behaviours by a much older individual that are more experienced in life and should know better, but clearly they lack that self-control. Can be a little bit embarrassing at times. Nevertheless, this needs to be covered because it's a viewer request. The ones in my thoughts, you can leave your thoughts down below in the comment section if you've seen comments similar to this. And yeah, hopefully you found it interesting. Feel free to hit the like button and share it so more people get to see. I might try and get another video out by tonight if there is time. But for now, my name's Warlike Ref. Goodbye.